And welcome to another night of Friday Night Showdown here live at Kentucky Motor Speedway here tonight, guys. And I'll tell you what, just coming off the Pit Report radio show here on ETV Live, had a pretty good crew, a lot of good discussion here tonight. You can catch that here every Friday just prior to Friday Night Showdown here on ETV Live Radio. But working the booth for you tonight, Michael Conti, Dakota Ehrman, on pit road. Steven Zenzi joining the crew tonight. And of course, John Wessling working the cameras for you downstairs in the camera room. So why don't we go ahead and take it up to the booth. Here are Michael Conti and Dakota Ehrman.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. Tonight should be a great night of racing. We're at the Kentucky Speedway for the first time this season, 100 laps around this mile and a half. Dakota, you know, they call these mile and a half speedways cookie cutters, but Kentucky is definitely far from it with its aged racing surface. I mean, this surface is quite old. I believe it's over 10 years old now. Just walk us around the track. I know you've raced here quite a bunch. Tell us about the bumps that you experience at both ends of the speedway.
Can I say that it's never ending? It seems like I haven't really raced there this season, but I mean, the few times that I've been there, I've been quite a bit, official series-wise, like last season. So many bumps, you have to hit the bumps just right. If not, you're just going to push up to the wall, and that's what makes this track so interesting. There's multiple grooves. I believe a lane up from the bottom or about the middle groove, there's a little grip strip kind of looking thing, and I don't think there's that many bumps there, but people don't tend to race there. Maybe on the longer run they go up there, but that's what makes this thing interesting. Is there's so much room to pass and race, but it usually ends up in tight racing and most likely wrecks is what we've been hearing right now, Michael Conti.
Yeah, definitely so. There's not a lot of grip here, especially after the tires wear out. You can either wear out that right front really badly, or you can wear out the right rear, and all depending on the setup and the driving style of these guys. And I know back when the NISWC ran here, I was a part of that. We saw a lot of great restart action. That was really the showcase of the night, Dakota. 4 and 5 wide on the restarts. Championship contenders battling it out side by side, within inches of each other through these really tight corners. And we're going to have a great championship battle again tonight in this V-Car Showdown. I'm looking at the points right now, and Anthony Kernick is up one position from last week. He takes over the top spot with 241 points. Behind him, slipping one, Alex Scribner's only 2 points back. So look for Kernick and Scribner. Whether they're in the same split or not, they're definitely going to be keeping track of where the other one is to see if they can maximize their night as far as points go. In the third position, your number one Wheelman Inc. car, Richard Doucette, 17 back. Behind him, you have Brandon Bowie, 19 back. Alexia Loma rounds out your top 5, 27 back. Matthew Wright up 4 positions. We've seen him really come on strong in the middle part of this B-Car season, so look for Matt Wright to have a good night tonight. If he does indeed race, he's 32 back. Shannon Segler slipping 3 spots from last week. He's back 34 behind. Chris Seymour is in 8th, 37 behind. Justin Kirby making an appearance in the top 10 for the first time this season. He's 40 behind. And rounding out your top 10, Dakota, a driver by the name of B.J. Beal. I've personally never heard of him, but he's up 5 positions from last week, from 15th to 10th, and he's still very much in this championship battle.
Yeah, I'm right there in the same boat with you. Never heard of this guy. That's kind of awesome. Somebody you don't really hear about that's sneaking up in the top 10 of the ETV points, and he's got a shot that he's still not out of this championship, I don't think. But you're talking about the top 2 guys being in different splits. Last week, Alex Scribner scored a top 10. I believe he was somewhere around 5th in the top split, but Kernick was able to pull off the victory in a second split. So, I mean, it's that points difference. I mean, there's less points in second split, but I think Anthony finished just enough points up there that he was able to steal the lead and get about a 2-point advantage. Richard Doucette, I'm actually not sure that he will show tonight, but if he does, he's always strong.
You can always expect those Doucette, the Doucette machine to be strong. Chad Lawton, any of them, if they decide to run. We haven't seen the presence of that team as much as we saw earlier in the season. I know they're focused on preparing their Cup vehicles for the Pro Series coming up in a couple weeks' time, as DWC is coming to an end here in a couple weeks at Homestead. So those guys are trying to get ready for that. It seems like they're letting the B-Car Series take a backseat for now, but I look for them to be back at least a couple more times before the season is over. Before we get into the server here, before we wrap up warm-up, I'm going to send it down to the Cactus Cuties and the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. We are in the closing minutes of warm-up. Before warm-up comes to an end, Dakota, Rich Doucette currently is quickest in practice with a 31.08. Right behind him, hot on his heels, is Carson Downs, and rounding out your top three is Jarl Tyne, the number 10, with a 31.11. So again, another week, same story. We got a lot of guys within a couple tenths of each other, all the way back to 18th, and Matt Largan is at a 31.56. So only about a half a second right now separating your field as Danny Hansen puts down a flyer at a 31.03. As warm-up ends right here, these guys are going to be pulling off real quick, and they're going to be gridding their cars, Dakota, and I'm looking down this grid, and we got some familiar faces up front once again, and maybe some not-so-familiar faces as well.
Yeah, that's for sure, but one of the most familiar is Richard Doucette starting from the pole, and on the outside of him, a guy that I actually don't think I recognize, but he is number one, so he has the highest I rating in the field, which means a lot to some people, and that is Simon Crotchert.
Yeah, Crockhart definitely is a great driver. I've had the pleasure to drive with him in a lot of fixed races here, and he definitely knows how to drive these B cars. Look for him tonight. Starting in third is Jarl Tyne with the time of a 38.41, and behind him, 1/10 exactly behind, is Jeffrey Park in the number 27, starting fourth.
And I would like to apologize for pronouncing his name wrong, but starting fifth on the inside, David Cater, part of Will Manning. On the outside of him, Dylan Landry.
Starting in seventh tonight is Justin Kirby with a time of 30.996, your last driver in the 32nd bracket. Now Scribner in eighth with a 31.03.
Starting in ninth position, Matthew Wright with a 31.069. On the outside of him, Hollywood E.J. O'Rourke.
Your last driver to take time on the field tonight is Alexia Loma in 11th in Dakota. We do not have a lot of qualifying times put down here. A lot of guys electing to bite the bullet, not put a queue time down, and make their way up from the middle of the field to the back of the pack.
Yep, that's for sure.
And I'm just going to run down the rest of the list real quickly here. Looking to come to the front of the pack tonight would be Brad Mahar, Danny Hansen, Nick Zotner, Carson Downs, Brandon Jarrell, Armando Vargas, Chris Seymour, Joe Holt, Mike R. Johnson, Andrew Shirley, Garrett Grant, Jake Poulin, Matt Largan, Mike Kirby, Zach Hudson, and rounding out your field tonight, the 27th place starter of Stephen Landry in the number 26 machine.
27 car field, I think it's the same as usual, and it's not seeing all the familiar guys up here, but some guys that kind of surprised me to be up front or up here, and I mean they're looking really fast, like they can compete with Richard so far.
I definitely think we're going to have a lot of guys hot on Richard's heels tonight. Rich is going to bring him down to the green flag right here. He's laying back a little bit off the pace car, wants to get a good jump, get this field rolling fast. Here he goes, puts the hammer down. Rich Doucette is going to lead him to the line. Here comes Scribner with a power move to the top of Landry. He's going to make it 3 wide even before we get to the line. Scribner's going to drop back 2 wide right there. He gets a little bit loose in the center of the corner. He's going to lose the spot. 17 of EJ O'Rourke. They're all trying to get single file right now. David Cater with a great run down the backstretch. He's going to look low, and Jeffrey Parker, not a lot of room right there. David thinks better of it, backs out just a little bit, but Cater's going to get that great run off from the center of the corner as the 27 makes slight contact with the wall, side by side down the front stretch. The 6 is not going to get in position that lap, but he's got position on him going into the corner. Here comes Justin Kirby looking on him as well. 3 wide almost as the 21 backs out of it. Thinks better of it. We're only on lap 2, Dakota, and these guys are racing hard already.
Yeah, that's the kind of racing Kentucky provides, and it seems like you've got to go now before your tires fall off, because it's going to really slick and it's going to be hard to pass later in the run.
Still side by side go. David Cater's going to clear the 27 off the corner. Here comes Justin Kirby. He's going to try to take the 5th spot away from Jeffrey Parker right there. Matt Wright looking strong already. He's up to the 7th position for the 9th starting place. Here comes Landry to the inside after a slow start. EJ O'Rourke is looking back there as well, but the 27 is going to lose that spot right there. They're going to take it 3 wide down the backstretch, almost 23, and Matt Wright is going to swing to the high side. Here comes Landry. Landry packs it down into the corner, slides up in front of the 23 right there, slight contact. Here comes O'Rourke, making the bottom line work nicely off turn 4 right there. He's going to try to get 2 for 1 coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, and you talk about the 27s and 1 race each other. Those 2 are teammates, but it's looking like Kirby might be just a little bit quicker in the short run here. As, looking up front here, I don't think we have actually got a leader running away. Richard Doucette is actually being chased down a little bit.
He certainly is. It seems like we have a 3-car breakaway right now. Rich Doucette, Simon Crockart, and Jarl Tyne in 3rd. They've put about 9/10 of a second, a little bit more than that, 1.1 seconds right now on the 4th place car. David Cater is going to try to run them down. But Dakota, I remember when I used to race this series a couple seasons ago before I came up here in the booth. At this track especially, the draft doesn't make a big difference, and we could get 2 or 3 car breakaways. And if we stayed in a freight train like that, no one could catch us.
That's probably one of the smarter things to do, but I haven't really noticed the draft being a big factor here. It's more about getting your car around it now. As I remember last season, one of our fastest guys that was running our setup, you could see his numbers every time he came out the corner, and he could pull away by himself without the drive. So this track is really a drive track. You got to set it up kind of loose as we have a battle for the lead. The 1 diving inside the 3. Richard Doucette not looking as fast as he has been because I believe that's Simon Crockart coming underneath him.
Crockart definitely
I don't even know.
It's okay. We're going to go with Crockart until he proves us wrong after this race. We're going to get in contact with him, just make sure that we're not butchering his name. Alright, Crockart to the lead. The 10, Jarl Tyne, is going to follow through. So put the 1 and the 10 up to 1st and 2nd. Doucette back to 3rd right there. So Doucette definitely needs to get up on the wheel right there if he wants to get this thing tonight. It is not going to be a Friday night drive for that number 3 car tonight at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Justin Kirby has made his way up to the 4th position. 27, Jeff Parker is in tow behind him. David Cater has fallen outside the top 5 back to 6th. Dylan Landry is in 7th right now. Matt Wright 8th, Alex Scribner 9th, and your battle for 10th is heating up with EJ O'Rourke and Alexi Loma in that 9 car. And I've been looking at Alexi every week, Dakota, and you know, he is one of our road DWC drivers that constantly races here with us. And he has been getting better and better every week. He's gone from maybe a top 20 car now to a solid runner in the top 10, so look for Alexi to make some things happen tonight.
Here's the funny thing. You could take an oval guy, put him on a road course, and he's not going to finish anywhere near the front. And I'm kind of testament to that on my personal experience. You could take a road guy, and he can dominate. Gregor Hutu, if you know who he is, he dominates the road series, I do believe. He was actually in an oval car for quite a while, too, and he destroyed everybody over here.
Yeah, I think the transition from road to oval is definitely easier than oval to road. I mean, road you have a lot more dynamics you have to deal with as far as braking, gassing, shifting, you know, et cetera, hitting the apex, right? You can definitely make that transfer over to these ovals. You know, Juan Montoya in the real life series, he's definitely been a testament to that. Tracks like Phoenix or Pocono, where you have a lot of apexes, a lot of hard braking. Montoya is very good there, but you put him at a place like maybe Bristol or somewhere like that, which is a little bit more foreign to him, and he doesn't get used to it quite as well. But Alexi's been really strong here this year. He's really making use of that second groove, which we talked about before the race, and Alexi's coming to the front. He started back in the 11th position. He's made up one spot so far up to 10th, but he's definitely going in the right direction, and that's great for him so far. Looking through this field right now, we have single file all the way back through your top 10 right there. The battle for the lead is starting to heat up. Here comes Tyne to the bottom of Crockhart. Crockhart's going to give him plenty of room, and Tyne is not going to lead that lap. It looks like he's going to get it right here as he slides up in front of the one going down to turn number 1 and 2.
And I'll tell you what, the battle for 4th place actually was exchanged as Jeffrey Parker's went around Justin Kirby and kind of set sail a little bit here.
Definitely so. It looks like Parker right there is starting to pull away from his teammate just slightly, maybe a couple tenths of a second right there. Side by side, still for the lead. Tyne's going to get it right there as Crockhart tried to make the crossover. Here comes Doucette pushing Crockhart down the front stretch. Now he's going to cross over him. He's going to take it too wide down to 1 and 2. You got to watch out when you're on that bottom, Dakota, because that second groove, although you have a lot of grip down there, it's very easy to slide up into that car on the outside of you if they pinch you down too much.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about the new grip levels in these tires, and I hear guys, tight, there's too much grip here, there's too much grip there. I'm sliding in every track I go to be quick, so I really think that there's not enough grip sometimes, but this track is true to that testament as you're sliding all the way around. You're loose, like you said earlier. That second groove, it can be for safety, or it actually slows you down, I do believe, but you want to move up a little bit maybe. If you're getting sliding, going too wide on the bottom, like you said, is really a pain, but
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm looking right here. David Cater is falling back as Alexi Loma gets a piece of the wall off turn 2. That's going to damage the right side of his car just a little bit right there. He's going to continue on. David Cater was holding up this, I guess you would call it the second major pack in this race so far. He was holding up cars like Landry, Wright, Scribner, Loma, and it looks like as they get side by side right there, Landry and Wright, I'm talking about, looks like Cater's able to pull away, so that 6 car has found the extra gear as these guys go side by side behind him. Like you said, when you go side by side, it's very hard to keep that car down at the bottom. And it can definitely slow you down a lot if you run side by side for many laps in a row. You definitely hurt your lap times, as we can see that right now. Cater is consistently pulling away from his pack as Landry's going to make the move off turn 4 right there, almost as he gets really dead sideways in the center of the corner. Wright gets a piece of the wall right there. Here comes Aloma. Aloma's going to come for the 8th position right there. 9th position right there. Landry goes back to 10th, so Landry goes from battling for the 6th position all the way back to 10th, so that's how quickly things can change here tonight.
yes, and Crockhart just went back around Doucette there, so we had a battle or a change for second place up front here.
Definitely so. Things keep changing so quickly here tonight. I cannot keep up with it. So Crockhart back around the 3 machine. I'm getting word from someone down on pit road that at that 10 car, they're on his radio right now, the 10 car, Jarl Tyne. He is tight in the center and loose off right now. I think that's what a lot of guys are facing. You really want to keep the momentum up at this track, so you have to be a little bit tight in the center. You don't want to get too sideways. But when you have so much wheel into the car, Dakota, you can really get dead sideways off the corner in a blink of an eye.
Here's what you don't want to be is too tight coming off the corner, because you're sitting there, you're just turning that wheel, turning, and when it comes to the straightaway, you're still turning.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. Jeffrey Parker is definitely catching this pack right now. Jeffrey Parker in 4th place. His last lap time was a 31.94 to the 04 of Doucette, and 99 of Crockhart, and 95 of the leader right there. So Parker is the fastest car of the top 4. Justin Kirby is at an 86 behind him. So those 2 Gale Force cars right there, the 27 and the 21, are definitely coming to the front as the caution is out right here. They're looking for that for you. I'm hearing 8 car in the 19th position before that happened. It's in the wall, and we're going to get that queued up for you on the e-play here shortly.
Ooh, that looked painful.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it myself. That's Brandon Gerald. Oh, he's definitely towed out right there. That black car definitely towed out. It looks like they gets a little bit loose off the corner, overcorrects into the wall, tries to keep it off of Vargas, hits the wall one more time, and Garrett Grant is going to nail him and send him onto his side right there. So that 8 car Has major damage right there. He's pretty skewed out. You know, those real life cup teams are trying to get the cars to skew in the corner, but that 8 might be a little bit overboard right there. So Brandon Jarl's night has virtually ended right here on lap 17 with a little bit of an overcorrect right there. And I think that's what Jarl Tyne is facing up in the lead right now. He's saying tight center, loose off, and if you don't keep on top of it, Dakota, that's what can happen to you. What happened to that 8 car right there?
You know, NASCAR's kind of trying to say, don't go overboard on this, trying to get the car kind of screwed up going in the corner. And I think iRacing might want to step in and talk to him because he went a little overboard there.
Yeah, just a bit. And I think overboard is not going to help that car at this point. Here, Jarl Tyne is going to make a half pound out of the left rear adjustment. And for more updates and adjustments, we're going to send it down to Steven Azeni on pit road.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's going to come down here. Should expect 4 tires after about a 20-lap run. Might be one of our longest runs of the season, actually. But a lot of guys complaining of that loose off condition and tight through the center. I was struggling with the same thing in my set, and here comes everybody in their stalls now.
We're hearing on the pit crew, for the Danny Hans machine. That's the number 4 is Jeffrey Parker slides through his pit stall. It's going to hurt him. Major wholesale changes for that number 4 car tonight. Again, it seems like these guys cannot get the 1.5 miles down. I know they're working real hard on it, but just can't seem to get it figured out. He makes wholesale adjustments as he's going to lose a couple positions off pit road. I'm looking at the battle off pit road for the lead right here. It looks like Parker is going to lose a couple positions, and Tyne is going to retain the lead. Doucette's going to come out second, Crockhart third. I'm sorry, Parker, even with that slip, Dakota, still managed to come out fourth, so great pit stop for that number 27 crew.
You know, on that run, I heard somebody nailed the wall, and when I went back up to the front, Parker had went around Justin Kirby, but I believe Justin Kirby had an extended pit stop. Steven, were they telling they're working on the car? Maybe he hit the wall?
No, it looked like it was 4 tires, and no, it looks like they didn't touch the car though. I don't think he had any damage either. It looks like he overshot his box actually. It missed his pit stall.
That's a shame, but like you said, Conti, they were coming up to the front there. I believe they have a long run car set up for this track, so I mean, watch for them in a long run. But the only problem is we haven't been getting long runs all week.
No, I was actually quite surprised at that 20-lap run, well, almost 20-lap run we got to start off this race here. That's not a bad run for this track, and after our past couple weeks, last week at Chicago wasn't bad for us, but Atlanta and a couple weeks before that at Richmond, we didn't get a lot of long runs there. But 20-lap run to start off the race, that's a good way to set the pace here, and hopefully these guys will try to double that run or maybe triple that run. I believe you can only go about 55, 60 laps on fuel here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dakota.
I would not know, but I believe that's something that Steven is in. He might know. I also have another question for Steven. I heard they were making changes to that 3 machine.
Yeah, it looks like they made some air pressure adjustments. He's not like the handling of his car right now. It's Richard Doucette.
And how much will that, do you know what the fuel window is?
Fuel window's around 55 laps. That's the general area with the 1.5 milers, and it's nothing different here. So figure about 55 laps they can go. Maybe stay up a little bit and get up to 60, but we'll definitely be expecting another stop before the end of this if it stays green.
Alrighty, that's Steven Azeni down on pit road giving us the scoop. Looking right here, Jarl has been strong all race long. He got off to a great start, had a great qualifying position as well, and he's really taken the bull by the horns right now. He is leading you down to this restart right here. Quick recap of the top 10. Rich Doucette second, Crockhart third. Cater looks like he is going, actually I'm sorry, they're confusing me up here. The 10's going to be first, Rich Doucette second, Crockhart third, Parker fourth, Cater fifth. Looks like Alexia Loma is going to be sixth as they get ready to go green right here. I'm sorry, these guys are making it real hard on me tonight. They're not lining up like this should be. Here we go. They're going to bring him down to the restart. Jarl Tyne's going to get a great restart. Doucette's going to spin the tires a little bit there in first gear. He's going to lose that second spot to the 3 of Crockhart, or the 1 of Crockhart right there. The 3 is going to go back to the 3rd position going into turn number 1 and 2.
And what that did was that held up, they almost made contact, almost 3 wide back there with Cater in the middle, but that held up Jeffrey Parker, and they just almost ran into the back of him as he had to jump down there and try to block it. It's Kirby in the wall. Ooh.
Well, he might not have gotten into the wall before, but he just did it there, so now we're short of it. So 21 in the wall for possibly the second time tonight, if not the first. Looks like Carson Downs is going to try to get the run up off the corner, try to get past him as Mahar is getting real loose with the Joe Holt machine on his bumper. They're getting really rambunctious back there. It looks like Mahar's going to pull away from him. Side by side with EJ O'Rourke and Alexia Loma. O'Rourke in the 17 having a strong run tonight, up well inside of the top 10 right there. As it looks like the 19 is trying to make a move on the 7 on the outside, so Landry trying to do something with that third groove. Not going to happen. He's going to fall in behind him. At 17, drives it down to the corner. I'm really looking at EJ right now. He's making a strong run to the front. Brad Mahar is going to scrape the wall off turn 4 right there. He's going to come down. He's going to try to block Joe Holt. Holt's going to say, you aren't going to do that to me. He's going to come to the high side and try to make the pass. Going to turn 1 up in that third groove. He's going to pinch him just a little bit right there. 13 looks really strong up there, Dakota. And if he gets the run off right here, he's going to complete the pass. He's almost there, and the 13 is going to have position going down into turn number 3. Great move by Joe Holt.
And last season, one of the trickiest parts or trickiest things to do was run that outside lane, especially in 1 and 2, or maybe that was Iowa. One of the 2 tracks is if you get up on the outside lane, it gets bumpier and bumpier if you get way up towards the top. So that can be a dangerous spot to be in. And I remember racing here in the Official Series, like I said last season, in the trucks. This track is a pain in the butt. I can't even imagine with this new tire model in these cars. It's probably going to be a blast, but they're going to be slipping and sliding like we said. And I'm really surprised at the racing that we're getting.
Joe Holt out of the groove off of turn 2 right there. Mahar's going to take that position over the number 2. Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. Breast cancer awareness car, I guess you can call it, gets real sideways off the corner right there. He's trying to show the crowd his number right there, and he's representing it proudly up in the 12th position. It looks like Landry's going to try to make a move on the 13 right there. The 26 car of Stephen Landry trying to make a move on the 13. Not going to happen. Looking back here, we got Matt Largan in 15th position right now. Your first battle back here looks to be the 5 and the 18. The 18 of Jake pulling under attack from the 5 of Nick Zotner. Zotner's going to try to take the low line under the 18. He's going to slide up in front of him and clear him off turn 4. So move Zotner up to 18, pulling back to 19. Well deep in this pack right now.
Starting to wonder if those changes on Richard Doucette's car are not working for him, because Jeffrey Parker is at the bumper of him. As I say that, he loses a little bit of ground moving high in turn number 1 and 2. But I mean, those 4 cars are now kind of together with a little bit of a distance on Cater and the guy behind him.
It definitely looks as if right now the 1, the 10, the 3, and the 27 are your 4 fastest cars tonight. I thought Justin Kirby would be up there as well, but it looks like he might have suffered some damage from his scrape with the wall right there a couple laps ago. It looks like that's really killing his car, as it looks like EJ O'Rourke, Dylan Landry, and possibly Carson Downs are going to bypass him right there. But definitely, I'm looking at that 27 car right there. I know you have an interest in that car, and I might as well tonight too. He definitely looks strong in these short runs, but as the run goes on, it looks like that car gets better and better as everyone else falls off.
Little secret there is, Nick Ottinger, actually, you probably don't know what he's capable of, since he's blinked out the last, 3 races in a row, but teammate to Nick Ottinger there, and I'm looking up front here, just 3 spots in front of him, as the lead's kind of tightening up. Doucette is right on the back bumper of the 10, and the 10's right there with the 1. I'm really shocked that these guys are able to stick with each other. As the 1 gets a little loose, the 10 coming to the inside, going into turn number 3, looks like he might be able to clear him just in that corner. He is clearing the 3, almost getting to the inside, getting tight, having to check up, looks like, and this is opening the door for Parker to maybe close up this gap coming off the corner.
Here comes the 3. Rich Doucette trying to make a move down the front stretch. The 1's going to close the door and not going to let him have it. So Simon Crockart back to 2nd. Charles Tyne up to 1st. Doucette's going to keep that 3rd position. And Jeffrey Parker's just looking on in 4th right now. A little bit further back, about 1.5 seconds off your lead, is David Cater rounding out your top 5. Trying to find a battle back here as EJ O'Rourke gets crazy loose off the corner right there. That's EJ in 10th place, under pressure from the 21 of Justin Kirby, who seems to have gotten his footing once again. He's running a little bit different group than everyone else, but it looks like he's able to carry some momentum off the corner right there. It's real close to the wall, might get a piece of it right there. Joe Holt's going to come to the inside of him, going down to turn number 1. He's going to try to take over the 11th spot from Kirby. So Kirby, in a matter of a pit stop sequence, has gone from inside the top 5 to all the way outside the top 10. So I'm sure the 21 must be screaming right now for a caution.
Stephen Landry now on the inside of him, and yeah, I'm sure he's screaming for a caution a little bit more. It's really irritating as a driver and a driver's perspective in the car. I mean, you'll look at it maybe the next day and you were having all kinds of fun, but in the car, when you got solo cars, or it seems like solo cars trying to pass you and race you, you're sitting there so frustrated, and everybody's going by you, going backwards. I know, Conti, you probably get real frustrated when you get all kinds of cars trying to race you, and you just want to go.
Yeah, no, I get frustrated, and I know my teammate in the DWC, Brian Schoenberg, he is one that does not like when he gets freight trained, and rightfully so. It's the most annoying feeling in the world. You know you have the speed on these guys, but you just get out of the group once, and at this level of sim racing, you cannot afford to make a mistake. These top splits, Premier Series, I mean, everyone is on top of each other. As Joe Holt is really cutting up to this pack right here, here comes Holt again, going to pass EJ O'Rourke on the front stretch right there. O'Rourke way out of the gas, letting the 13 by, but here comes Landry in the 26. He's going to try to make his way by him again. That's O'Rourke back to the 11th position, possibly 12th right here, maybe 13th by the time we get to turn 3. Holt up to the top 10. Here comes Parker, and Armando Vargas is going to try to make a move down to turn 3 as well.
I'll tell you what, Matthew Largan looked like he was coming forward. The 14 get loose on the bottom, so he moved to the outside, and now he's been freight trained by the Brad Mahar machine and also the 5 machine of Nick Zonter.
Carson Downs just got crazy loose off of turn 4 right there. I'm not sure if he got a piece of the wall, but I don't know how he saved it. Somehow he did. Looks like that rear bumper is caved in just a little bit. That was the 7 car off turn 4. I'm looking right here. He already had some bumper damage, and he just got crazy loose out of the corner, trying to put the power down, put a little bit of brake into it. A nice save by the 7, but he goes from the 9th position all the way back to outside the top 10 as he's getting sideways off turn 4 once again. So that 7 car, teammate of the 4, they are both fighting loose conditions. It seems like the 7 is getting worse as we speak. That 7 is now back to the 13th position, with O'Rourke back to 14th in a strong top 10 run as well. So those 2 cars are going to the back in a hurry.
And another guy getting loose is your buddy from the roadside, Lesky Aloma. I cannot pronounce his name correctly. Lexi Aloma was also getting really loose off of turn number 2. I mean, he was wiggling it, sliding. I don't know how he saved that thing. That's probably a monster to hang on to right now.
These nationwide cars seem tame with their lack of horsepower and mega downforce on the nose, but the way that the cars are being set up right now, I know you know what I'm talking about. The rear ends are got some different stuff going on in the rear ends. That spoiler isn't all the way up in the air like it used to be. It's kind of down, and you know you're sitting on the rear end a lot more. You know, you're really compressed in the back with some soft springs and different ride height packaging. It's really making the characteristics of these cars change, and the aero loose condition has really been exclamated with it, because just how low that the spoiler is going down the front stretch and into these corners, you can really get loose very easily.
I found I was screwing around with this the other day. It doesn't even matter the spring package anymore if you get it close. Just the rear ride heights can make all the difference in the setup now. It's almost amazing what it does. I mean, you can move up maybe an inch or so or a few inches and you'll be tight as crap. You'll move down an inch or so and you're sliding out the corner.
And Chad Lawton, our buddy Steve Azeni, they're talking in chat right now, and they're saying how they're not really liking the Cup car settings in the back end with that rear end low like we're talking about. So yeah, it's all personal preference right here. You know, you really can't be too loose in this nationwide car. It's not a lot of right rear tire to lay on like that Cup car with its more horsepower and, you know, a little bit less grip. So these cars, it looks like a lot of the fast guys are still using a conventional rear end package. I'm not quite sure what they're doing in the front end, but you know, like I said, at this level of sim racing, as the 2 gets really loose, these guys try to be as secretive as possible. And the 2 at Mahar getting real loose out of the corner right there. EJ is going to try to make a move on him. EJ is all the way back to the 17th position right now. Make that the 18th position. Mahar is back to 19th.
Alexi Haloma sliding all over the place. As Matthew right now coming the inside. I'd be scared if I was in Matthew's shoes. I would not want to be around him. I'd be backing up my corner just to get away, even if he's pulling away, because Alexi is like sliding all over the place. Like I said, I don't know how he's hanging on that thing at this point.
As you're looking at Alexi, I'm looking at EJ O'Rourke, and I mean, that 17 car is evil sideways right now. He's gone from the 8th place all the way back to 20th, under pressure from 21st right now. So definitely not what the 17 wanted to see. That's his teammate right there, Jake Poole in the other Louis truck, Chevy right there, making a pass on him. So that's 22nd for EJ. Going to be 23rd right here is the 25. As Zach Hudson is going to make a move on him. So that 17 is going back in a hurry. So, you know, the 21 of Kirby we were saying needed a caution before. As he gets into the wall one more time right there, that 17 car might be what he needs. I mean, he's all over the place. I see a lot of loose race cars right now, Dakota. It seems like a lot of these guys are just getting looser and looser as these tires burn off.
And I know personally Kirby's been up in clean air a lot this week, so I'm sure this traffic thing that he's doing right now, it's probably unique and something different for him, so that's probably why he's having quite a bit of trouble. But I mean, that's what this car does. It seems like if you get a car behind you, arrow-wise you're going to get loose, but if you pull up behind another car and there's nobody behind you, you get tight. So it's like a reversal thing there, and it's really scary trying to drive like that. And you can get up on somebody, they can get loose, and you can't turn the car, you got nowhere to go. As caution is out on the speedway. 21 car, I'm hearing.
21 of Justin Kirby, who we were talking about before. Kirby got all types of sideways off of turn 4. Off the front stretch wall he went. And I'm trying to see, he's definitely going to make some contact with the outside wall as he slides back up into it. Again, just like we saw Carson Downs, he gets really loose off the corner, swerves back outside to avoid the car below him, and he's just going to pancake the left side of the car into the outside retaining wall. So that 21 car, his night went from bad to worse right there in a matter of seconds.
And really, if I were everybody on the track right there that was almost collected, I would be coming across the radio or having my spotter talk to his spotter and say a big thank you, because Kirby did a big thing there. He almost ruined his race completely or entirely after what he's been through right now, just so he did not wreck them and wreck somebody else's. I know all kinds of guys in this series right now that would probably have just let it go and collect somebody. They wouldn't really care.
Yeah, a lot of guys just, like you said, a lot of guys try to think about themselves only, and they don't think about other guys out there. But it seems like Kirby really used his head right there and turned it back into the outside wall to avoid catching anyone else up in the mayhem right there. We're working lap 42 right here, so another about 20 lap run right there. So if this race keeps going like this, we're going to have 5 segments of 20 laps. These guys making their second pit stop of the night. And for more information, we're going to send it down to Steven once again on pit road.
Yeah, these guys are going to come in here, lap 42. It's going to be a fuel race from here, it looks like, as I don't think you can make it this long on fuel. So everyone's going to be taking 4 tires here, get that tank fuel. I heard that Carson Downs will be taking half pound out of the right front in this pit stop here. And half pound out of the left front for Jarl Tyne. He's our leader right now.
Yeah, a lot of adjustments going on these guys right now. They're definitely trying to tighten these things up. Half pound to the left front. Man, a half pound to the left front, that could do a couple different things depending on how your car is set up. I know tire pressure is a little bit wacky right now. So he could be, it definitely sounds like he's got some sort of condition off the corner. That's where you usually adjust that left front. So he's definitely trying to make up for that. And we heard another driver's making an adjustment on the right front, which is also for corner exit as well. Coming off of pit road, it looks like Tyne's going to be the first one out on 4 tires. 24 Kirby, I believe he just went right through pit road. I don't think he stopped, so I'm sure we'll see him in this time. So your race off pit road should be the 10 of Tyne coming out first, Crockhart in the 1 coming out second. He's set 3rd, Matt Wright from 6th to 4th. Jeff Parker up to 5th. The Dylan Landry machine up to 6th. David Cater 7th. Joe Holt making his way up the field in 8th. Carson Downs hanging on to it 9th, and the other Landry car, Stephen Landry, rounding out your top 10 when we get back going green here.
Alright, well, we're going to step away, and we'll be right back with some more racing action from Kentucky Motor Speedway.
Welcome back to Kentucky Motor Speedway Friday night showdown here. I'll tell you what, something new happening tomorrow night, 8 o'clock p.m. on ETV Live Radio, Thunder Mountain Speedway. This is the real deal, cowboy. Wesley Outland brings you live action from Thunder Mountain Speedway. Super late model, fast track crate, late models, and street stocks from Thunder Mountain Speedway. 8 o'clock live on the ETV Live Radio. You can get it from iTunes, TuneInRadio.com, Windows Media Guide. Hey, click on the link from the etv-eplay.net website. Let's take it back up to the booth with Michael Conti and Dakota Herman.
Welcome back, everybody. We are working our second caution here tonight at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. We've had a great race so far, basically dominated by the top three right now. That 10, the 1, and the 3 have been the best looking cars so far tonight, Dakota.
Yeah, but another guy not quite far out, just heard him on the radio saying that he was actually knew he had something fast, but he wasn't quite sure what he's at. So Jeffrey Parker also looking good, and Justin Kirby, you remember him? We were talking about him. He basically threw away his race just so he didn't take somebody out. Just got word from him. He's going to need one more caution to come down and get the rest of his damage fixed, but he is looking to make a charge back up to the front. So I wonder what he will be able to do towards the end of this race.
Yeah, we're going to have to see indeed. He's got a little bit of damage right now. We'll see what he can do. I'm looking at the chat right here, and the iRacing chat is always interesting, Dakota, but it looks like Brad Mahar and Rich Doucette going at it just a little bit. I hope it's friendly, but they're poking at each other a little bit. But what's new? These guys always like to poke at each other a little bit under caution.
Yeah. Another new kind of developing stories are getting set to take the green flag is that these guys are potentially good on fuel. We do believe we've been reinformed about 60 laps because this track is a little bit slower than what some of the ones we go to, that they are really close on fuel, if not good. So the fuel mileage may not play a role in this.
Yeah, I don't believe it will, based on our calculations and based on a couple different teams' calculations. Everyone will be okay. Tana Charles is going to get a great restart right there. Crockhart's going to file in behind him. Rich Doucette gets a very slow restart right there. He must have been looking at the chat with Mahar and didn't realize that they're going green right there. So the 3 is possibly going to lose 2 positions right here. Here comes the 19 as they have another wreck on the back of the pack right there. It looks like Alex Scribner, another GFR car bites the dust here tonight. 20 car of Alex Scribner. Looks like they're coming down the front stretch, just taking the green right there. And Scribner gets doored by the 12 car right there. The 12 being Chris Seymour right there, just came right down to his door and sent him for a ride down the infield.
It looks like he didn't get anything that little door tap, so I think that car should be okay, except for the fact he's going to have to come down and get tires and work his way back to the field. This is what Justin Kirby needed to get that break. But as you said earlier, Richard Doucette went backwards. He also stacked up Jeffrey Parker back there as well. So those 2 cars have been marked back just a little bit further in traffic.
Looking back at that Scribner incident, great job by Scribner to keep it off that inside wall. He was only about a couple feet away from hitting it with the nose, and he did a great job braking and counter-steering to get away from that. So Scribner will live on a little bit longer right here. He's in a little bit better shape than his teammate in that 21, who's got a little bit more damage than he does. Like you were saying, Rich Doucette did not get a good restart at all. Mistimed when the 10 was going to go and just kind of stacked up everyone behind him. But again, we see this every week. That's what you face when you don't have a defined restart box. You just don't know when that leader's going to go. And if you anticipate it wrong, you're going to be the big loser on the deal and everyone else behind you.
And I'll tell you what, Alex Scribner will sit second in points, 2 points out of the lead, so it's going to be all on right now whether he can come back up and maybe get a top 10 out of this thing, and where Anthony Koenig finishes the race tonight.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where Koenig is running right now in that second split. I know he's quick every week, and I wouldn't expect anything different here at Kentucky. We definitely see that they got a lot of good setups going around this week with these top 2 or 3 point contenders that everyone is bringing their A game. So I'm sure Koenig is doing the same thing down there in that second split. Looking right here, we didn't have a lot of cars take pit road right there. It looks like Jake Poulin came in probably to get a couple adjustments or something right there. We didn't really have a straightaway on the tires, but obviously he didn't like what he was feeling in that car. So he's going to duck into pit road and get some adjustments.
Tell you what, I just got an update from some guys on second split from some guys. We got all kinds of those here at DTV, and Anthony Kernick is leading the race. So the point shakeup looking like Anthony right now will kind of pull away a little bit with his points lead. And unless Alex can come back, it could come down to Doucette being up front, maybe stealing away the second spot.
Hey, Doucette, I've talked to Doucette quite a bit this season. He definitely wants to finish in the money this season, and really do well in this championship battle. He knows that he's got the cars to do it every week with those Willman Inc. setups, and he feels that he's a good enough driver to get up there and take this points lead away from Scribner and Kernick. And the way he's been running the past couple weeks, I wouldn't put it past him to do that. He won last week at Chicago. I believe it was his first win in this Friday Night League Car Showdown. His first win in 5 seasons here, so it took him a little while, but he pulled it through last week in dominating fashion, and was able to take the win home.
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt that he's fast enough to be a contender, but you gotta wonder if he's got the respect on the track that some of these other guys have. First off, he's one of those teams that's dominated. I don't think anybody's going to give him an inch of room. I doubt that. You get these guys that are like, "Oh, that's Ray Alfala. I'm going to go away," and you get these other guys that are thinking, this guy's fast. I'm not going to give me room. I'll make him go around if he thinks he's faster. So you got to wonder which category he's going to fit in, and how he's got kind of like a relationship. Some things that some ways he might represent himself that kind of make him look like the bad guy or the good guy on track or off track. It's going to kind of depend on how he's going to get raced, and that can influence his championship hopes this season.
Yeah, definitely so. When you're going for a championship, you usually want to give people as much respect as possible. I know with this season, in my run for the DWC championship, I've tried to not tick too many people off, and I have to say I think I've behaved myself pretty well for the most part this year. I've had a couple run-ins with a certain guy, but we got that taken care of a couple weeks ago, and we're all good now. So when you do have problems with someone, you definitely want to try to get in touch with them as quick as possible and try to get it situated and rectified, whatever you want to say. And I didn't do that with this certain driver, and he was kind enough to send me a little Facebook message and let me know what was going on and how he felt, and he got the ball rolling there, and I give him a lot of credit for doing that. And I know definitely next time I will message people a little bit sooner if I believe there's a problem, and I think we can all take a lesson from that. You got to race the same people every week, Dakota. This Friday Night V-Car Showdown, we see, the same people in the majority of the field every week in this top split, and you don't want to go through a 12-week season, with a grudge against someone, racing against them, kind of thinking that they might have something to give you in the way of their bumper into your bumper. You don't want to race like that. It's not fun to race like that. It really takes your mind off the car and the race itself.
Yeah, another thing is, on-track incidents are, they're really one of the more difficult things to handle. You can have a spotter tell you one thing. I had this happen to me actually last night. Two different spotters with two different views on what happened. One guy going up and the other guy, one guy coming down, and this was actually me. And so you really got to wait before you do anything. I know retaliation is probably one of the biggest things that comes to a driver's mind on track if you get wrecked or something, but you got to wait and kind of go back and look at the replay, cool down a little bit, and I think that's what some of these guys aren't able to do. But you talking about rivalries, I believe Richard Doucette and Brad Mihar, you were talking about earlier, kind of sending it back and forth, a few messages that were, either joking or, not happy with each other. That could be something that plays in, because Brad Mihar occasionally has the car to finish up front, and, he might have something to say, because a lot of these guys are actually starting to figure this out. It seems like Doucette is not the fastest car out there tonight. That's kind of been made obvious. You got to wonder, who's going to play a role in this in the end?
Yeah, the door is definitely open for a lot of these other front runners here tonight to get a win off of that Wheelman Inc. number 3 machine right there. Try to get it right there. Jarl Tyne is going to get another great restart. Looks like Matt Wright, again, that third position does not go. He spins the tires just a little bit right there. Simon Crockart's going to file into the second position, going down to turns number 1 and 2. Here comes Matt Wright. He's poking the nose in on Landry right there. Landry's going to give him the lane. The 29 is not really in the optimal lane right there. What this is going to do, this is going to give the 3 a big run up off the corner. Here comes Doucette. He's going to go to the outside of the 29, possibly try to make it 3 wide into turn 3. So great move by the 3 on that restart right there.
Carson Downs back there in the 7, almost going backwards. It's Cater now underneath. He also lost a spot to the 13 of Joe Holt. What is wrong with Carson Downs? He is moving back.
Yeah, as we saw before, Carson Downs is quite sideways right now at both ends of the speedway, and it gets worse as the run goes on. So he might be trying to make that car a little bit tighter in the start here, so he isn't as bad at the end of the run, as we got a big phone booth in the back right here. Now the 4 car leading the way, Danny Hansen, as he blinks out of the server. There he is. He comes back. He's 16. Matt Largan, the 22-17, behind them. Alexia Loma is way back in the pack from where we saw him earlier in the night. That 9 car is back in the 17th position back there, possibly 18th now. We have to see when Tommy is scoring updates. But you know, a couple guys that we saw in the front before in the back. Alex Scribner, after that turnaround, he's back in the 20th position. Brad Mahar is in 21st. So a lot of guys who were up front before are not there anymore, as the 2 and the 20 almost make a little bit of contact in the center 1 and 2, and they are not done yet.
Tell you what, Armando Vargas did something that you don't like to do here unless you're in like qualifying trim. About 3 laps to go when we took the green flag, when he came back around, he used that apron in the trioval, and that is not illegal here. But that's something that you don't want to do from time to time, because getting down there is one thing. It's bumpy, just like on the track, and it's really slick, and getting back up is a whole nother one.
Yeah, Armando was definitely trying to take a little bit of a shorter route right there, and it looks like it didn't really hurt him too much. The thing that really hurt him was when he hit the wall off turn 4 that last lap. That's going to hurt him, if anything. He almost hit it off at turn 2. Here comes Steven Landry in the 26. He's going to try to make the move on that number 11 Lowe's Chevrolet right there. He's not going to make it happen. The battle right now is for the lead. Simon Crocker all over the number 10 right there. They are 1-2 nose to tail, less than 10th and a half separated. Separates those 2 cars right there. Then you have another second back to Dylan Landry in 3rd. Rich Doucette not able to do anything in 4th. And the first real battle right now is the 27-13 of Joe Holt. David Cater is going to look for that position as well. Here comes Cater with a big run down the backstretch. 27 sends it in there. That's Parker in the 27. He's going to clear Holt in the center. Here comes Cater trying to take advantage of the hole as well.
And we saw Jeffrey getting clean air a little bit earlier. He was running down the leaders at the end of the run. But I don't think he burned his tires up. I think right there is one of the things you want to avoid on this racetrack. Run real hard racing for position. I would actually kind of back up, cool down the tires, keep them cool, and wait for everybody to come back to me, as I think Jeffrey Parker is actually going to kind of tighten up in the long run maybe, or lose some handling. That's something dangerous here, is burning out these tires happens really quickly.
Backstretch. Alexi Lom all by himself on the backstretch. That car, we saw that it was loose before, Dakota, and it looked like it just snapped around right there. I'm going to rewind that. Looks like he just gets a massive wiggle off the corner, overcorrects. We've seen that before tonight, and it's going to nail the outside wall. Not a big hit, but it's definitely not going to help his chances tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to be the statistician right here as we're here in the 27 one around. That's the second time in 2 Kentucky races in the Friday Night Big Car Showdown that Alexia Loma has spun out on the front stretch. So not good for him. The 27 of Jeffrey Parker went around after the caution came out, Dakota. I didn't see that, but did you catch what happened right there?
Ooh, we have a little bit of retaliation. I guess Joe Holt doesn't like being passed, because I don't think he could hold on position anyway. And came around and attempted to spin Jeffrey Parker into the wall under caution. And Jeff was able to kind of keep it out of the wall, but maybe lose some positions here. Not sure, so I'm going to see where he gets to go back up to. Is he actually... Oh, he got caught in the pit road there. A penalty. It's going to put him in the back. He hit the cone is what it was, and now he's the only one to the back is Joe Holt, wrecking out your top 5 contender now.
I'm not quite sure what that was all about, as we're under caution here. I'm going to look at this replay of what happened right there. Looking down, they sent it down to Steven Azzendi. You got a couple cars electing to come down to pit road.
Yeah, it looks like most of the field's coming out here, but the top 3 will stay out, and everyone else should be coming in here for 4 tires and see if they have anything for the top guys.
Definitely so. It looks like for all those guys back there, the only way that they could try to get up here and wrestle that win away from the top 3 is probably to get some new tires on it. Now, I'm looking back at this replay right here, Dakota, of the battle between the 27 and the 13, and let's see. I mean, they're together since the restart. I'm looking back here at lap 53 if you want to cue your replay up to that as well. And it just looks like they really just get close a lot, you know. They really battle hard, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, the worst part about this is he didn't do it on a green. He did it on caution. He backed up and then kind of charged off the corner when everybody started slowing down, and ran around David Cater. He's closing up. He stops and he moves down and tries to turn, and you can see his car move down. So Joe Holt thinking don't even know what he's thinking, but he just made some powerful enemies tonight, that's for sure.
Definitely so, and we'll see if that comes back at the later stages of this race. I'm sure the 27 of Parker cannot be happy with the 13's move right there. At Lost Parker, a lot of track position. That's going to relegate him from 5th all the way back outside the top 20. Parker is going to be 21st on this restart. And before we get back to this restart right here, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980. And we are back live here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. I believe we're working our 4th caution here tonight, guys. Of course, a little payback going on down there during this last caution. But I'll tell you what, more action coming your way on ETV Live Radio tomorrow night from Thunder Mountain Speedway, ETV Live Radio, 8 o'clock p.m. Wesley Outland, real-life track announcer coming from real-life track Thunder Mountain on ETV Live Radio. First time it's ever been done. You'll see it here. Actually, listen to it here first. ETV-eplay.net. And on Sunday night, SimPro Racing, the Power Ride Lucas Oil Midgets at Clarksville National at 9:30 p.m. right here live on ETV Live. Let's go ahead and take it back up to the booth. Here are Michael Conti and Dakota Herman.
And JD, you talk about your radio shows, and I try to tune in every now and then, get a piece of them, and it really amazes me what kind of people are on these radio shows. I mean, the likes of Ryan Blaney, the Truck Series winner from a couple weeks ago, Timothy Peters. I mean, some great people that you're getting on ETV Live. So I can't say enough about you and John and everyone that puts ETV together, and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to do this. This is my 2nd season now announcing for the Speed Car Showdown, and it's really a blast, and I'm looking forward to a couple more races here this season. We're about halfway through. We got about, I believe, 5 or 6 to go after this, so plenty of great racing to come here in the rest of the season.
Speaking of radio shows, in the pit report, as we do have a segment of Michael Conti talking about, I believe, Tech Talk, if he'll ever show up.
Yeah, I know. I'll come next week, I promise. And here we go.
Restart. I'll hold you to that.
I see how I try to change the subject right there, and Dakota doesn't let me. All right, here we go. Restarts out. Big moves by Danny Hance right there. He tries to force it 3 wide on the bottom. That's in the middle of the pack. That's for the 14th position. 4 car trying to make something happen. It looks like they've tightened that thing up just a little bit. His teammate Carson Downs a couple positions ahead of him. 3 wide in the middle. Here comes Carson Downs in the middle. Joe Holt is not going to let him do that. Danny Hansen sideways down the backstretch. Zotner, I'm hearing, came down from the 12, gets sideways right there. Everyone's getting sideways. I'm sideways. You're sideways. We're all sideways, Dakota.
We're watching there the 14 of Michael Johnson going backwards. He did not go in that restart. Held up Alex Scrivener, the 2nd place in points, and now Alex finally getting around him is Cater, and I believe, I'm not sure who that is. Might be Landry, actually, just went around him as well. or not Landry, excuse me, that is Matthew Wright, and now Matthew Wright and Cater racing side by side. Cater's in the inside.
Cater's looking to make up some positions right here on that 23 car. That would be for a top 5 spot. Cater's been hovering around that 4th to 7th spot all night. He's going to take 5th away from right there. So a great run by Cater tonight. We haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but he's coming back with a vengeance.
Jeffrey Parker, after receiving EOL for entering the pits, which he did, he was kind of shoved down there. It was race start at 25th, and he is now up to 21st position.
5 in the backstretch, that's going to bring out a caution right there. 5 and Nick Zotner gets a little bit of help right there. I'm looking at the replay right there. That's our 5th caution of the night. Looks like Armando Vargas is sent down into the 5, and the 5 nails the inside wall and pops a wheelie, NHRA style right there. And he's going to get a lot of damage from that incident. Trying to see who sent the Vargas machine down into him. I'm looking at my at the replay right now. It looks like Mike Johnson came down into the 11 of Vargas, and like I said, sent him down into the 5, and the 5 gets the brought the damage right there from that.
I wonder if they didn't actually make contact. Mike, I believe, moved down. I'm not sure that I saw contact there. Just a wild hit or kind of miss, like dodge, trying to move the wheel and trying to dodge him because he thought he was going to come down and hit him and maybe get in the 5. So that could have been a little bit of reflex there as well.
Yeah, it's just a tough spot when you're 3 wide like that. You really don't know what's going on, and your spotter's yelling at you 3 wide, and you don't exactly know where those other guys are, and you're just trying to give as much room as possible. And sometimes you give too much room, and sometimes things like that happen.
Your spotter actually calls where people are.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to. Sometimes they're up at the hot dog stand getting a hot dog, and they don't call it, and then we all wreck, and it doesn't look good. But yeah, the spotter's supposed to be up there calling the shots, but unfortunately, some spotters are sleeping. We've seen that quite a bit this season in this series. I get some new spotters, but looks like the only car coming down pit road is Mike Johnson. Justin Kirby's going to come in as well, and the JGB car of Andrew Shirley in that 15, he's going to come down. 25 of Zach Hudson, AJ O'Rourke, and others. Steve, anything extra special going down on pit road, or is it just 4 tires and adjustments for these guys in the back?
Looks like 4 tires for everybody in the back here. Looking to get some tires here, maybe gain some spots here. After all those guys are out in about 5 lap old tires, 10 laps. I don't think we had that long of a run there.
And we are still pacing, as I believe we have a guest joining us on the radio. How you doing, bud?
Doing all right. How about you guys up here?
Having fun, I guess, up here calling this race. And okay, so first off, I have a huge question because Michael Connie just pointed something out to me that I find strange. At a place like this where we're used to cautions all the time, my spotter usually just sits there and talks to me, but he says the spotters actually are supposed to call out where other cars are. I'm kind of shocked here.
Spotters are supposed to be observant? Now.
Well, I know when JD spots, he's the spotter that's up at the hot dog stand, like I was talking about before. So I wouldn't ask him that question.
So who are you spotting out there for tonight?
Jarl, he seems to be running pretty good right now. I think he's got the best car out there. Rich has put up a little bit of a fight. Simon is there on the short run, and Jeffrey Parker was there for a little bit. But as long as everything goes his way, I think Jarl's got this in the bag.
Hey, wait a minute. That sounds like a familiar voice to me. Is that J.D. Laird? Is that the Jelly Donut I've known since back in the Sim Racing International days?
Yep, that's the graphical wonder himself.
Been a long time, my friend. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just sitting here on my butt watching these guys go around and around in circles all day.
There you go. All right, let you guys get back to it. I just seen the back door open up, and I saw Jelly Donut walk in the booth there, and I thought, I'll be damned. Been a long time.
Yeah, it has. A little bit. What, about 7 years? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, or more. Lots happened between now and then, but welcome to ETV Live, bud.
Appreciate it.
Alright, well, I got it.
I'll go back down in my little hole, guys. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, how do you feel with your driver actually being one of the first cars? Is that seeming to be faster than Richard Doucette? Easily.
I'm not worried about it. The logo's on the deck lid, so as long as the JDR car sits in victory lane, I'm a pretty happy camper.
10-4.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
JD
Go ahead, Conti.
has a very big presence out in this field, not as big as DWC. JD, I always wonder, how many cars exactly do you have running DWC every week now?
Every week it seems to be around 20 or so. But I was bored last night and I tallied up how many cars I did just out of straight DWC guys. And I did 43 total cars, and Mike Conti, you have 7, so thank you very much for making my brain hurt.
So is that 7 with the pink car or without the pink car?
With the pink car.
Okay, well,
Kind of interested in
I'll
this pink car.
I'll be waiting for that one after the race here. I'm excited to see that. A lot of the DWC guys are going to be doing pink cars during the last race at Homestead because Breast Cancer Awareness Month is coming up here shortly. So I'm sure in the Speed Car Series we'll be seeing a lot of pink cars popping up in the future. Look back here, Brad Mahar's already got one. So there's one right there. I'm sure we'll see at least half the field have one by the time October rolls around. So I'm sure JD is going to be getting a lot of business from this series in the coming weeks here with all these pink cars. I think JD is going to be seeing pink when he dreams at night.
I hope nobody asks me for pink cars. I already got too much time on my hands. I don't need to be recoloring cars all day.
Yeah, but JDC, you get paid for that, so you're supposed to say, yes, I welcome all business. See, come on.
Well,
now.
if that's the case, you owe me $35.
Oh, well, see everyone, that's where I stick my foot in my mouth when I say too much.
Little bit. Just a little bit.
Alright, we're going to let you get back to spotting or talking or whatever it is you do up there in the spotter stands. We're getting set to go back green flag racing here. We're working turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4 definitely. That is getting a lot of distractions right now. I got people popping in out of my room like Jack in the Box, so I'm trying to keep my head focused on this race right here. Here we go. We're going to be working lap 68 as this pace car pulls off. There goes Draw with another great restart. Rich Doucette with another, as they call him, my team, a mark start right there for Rich, so I'm sure he doesn't want to get another one of those. So Rich is going to drive it down to turn 1 right here, try to keep that position with the 19 of Landry, who has really made his presence known tonight as they get side by side down in turn number 1 and 2. They get real close. Landry up the track. Here comes Doucette. He's going to clear him off turn 2.
Looking in the back, I believe that was Hollywood O'Rourke and Jeffrey Parker almost making contact, or Jake Poland, and just kind of a scary moment where Jeff wanted to go up and Jake wanted to come down at the same time, and obviously all of a sudden you see them both jerk the opposite way so they don't run into each other.
Oh, one in the apron. He's going to save it. I believe that was the 22 Matt Largan going for a ride on the bumpy apron down here. Kentucky, like I said, it is an old track, and that apron has not been repaved in over 10, maybe 15 years now. Oh, Charles in the wall. Charles in the wall right there. Big damage for that number 10 on the right side. He caught the safer barrier with the right rear, and that's really going to damage that car. That was not a kiss. That was not a scrape. That was not a tickle. That was a pound right there. So the 10 car of Jarl, that might end his night right there. We're just going to have to wait and see how badly that car really is damaged.
I wouldn't call that the ETV jinx, because that was a spotter that jinxed him that time.
Yeah, it's we have JD up here in the booth, and he's like, well, you know, he's doing good, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then his car hits the walls. We're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch right here. Here comes Rich Doucette. Oh, he sets. Oh, there goes Jarl in the wall. Jarl in the wall right there.
Sounds about right.
Jarl's night right there. Unfortunately, Rich Doucette puts it in there 3 wide. And Procart has to move up the track, and, well, there goes Jarl. So, unfortunate end to Jarl's night, but I don't see him coming back from that hit. And here we go, David Cater. Look, where did he come from, Dakota? David Cater's up to second, trying to make a move right here in the lead.
And remember, I believe Doucette's been making all kinds of changes to his car. He has been unhappy with it, so he could have went the opposite way and probably destroyed his car, especially make a little bit of contact. Probably didn't hurt him, but Cater might actually be the faster of the two now. It's actually Matthew Wright also creeping in this picture. Some guys we haven't seen, and also the second place in points now creeping underneath the 1 car. Not quite able to get there, but Alex Scribner is in the, I believe, 5th position as we have a battle for the lead. The 6 car is underneath Richard Doucette.
Here comes Cater, but here comes Matt Wright. Matt Wright's going to try to throw it in the middle right here. Jeffrey Parker getting real sideways off the corner. Oh, there goes Danny Hansen around in the backstretch. 11th position back there. I'm hearing from the Cowboy, J.D. Webb. It looks like Danny Hansen got a huge hook down the back right there. The Steven Landry machine getting really sideways off the corner. Oh, the 12 again. That's the third incident we've seen the 12 in tonight. The 12 comes up and nails the 4, and that sends the 4's right rear into the 26. 26 comes back down. He's going to hook him. It looks like the 4 might be okay. I'm not sure if that wheel is going to be pushed in or not. We're just going to have to wait and see when he gets going straight here when I get this thing live. But he's got a lot of damage in the door. That car still looks straight. So the 4's night isn't over. But again, that 12 car, Chris Seymour, that's the third wreck that he's caused tonight. So not a good night for that black car.
That was right around Justin Kirby. Kind of scary moment for him right there.
Yeah, Kirby definitely did not want to be caught up in another wreck, and he just narrowly avoided that one. So lucky for Kirby, it looks like he's found the golden horseshoe and is holding onto it near and dear. But someone that I guess the guy that lost the horseshoe would be Jarl Tyne. I mean, from the lead all the way back. Where is he? He's so far back. He's a lap down off the track. So Jarl Tyne is done, everybody. So the guy that has led at least 80% of laps tonight will not be your eventual race winner. So it looks like right now the only guy that can really battle Doucette might be Crockhart, maybe Cater if he can stay up there as well. We got some takers down pit road, Steve. What's going on down there?
Yeah, it looks like Alex Gribner was the first car to enter. A couple guys behind him stayed out, but basically the whole back half of the field is going to come in here and take tires for this last 25 laps stint here. It should pay off. I'm sure they'll win a couple spots, but that's about it. Just everyone in the back who's been struggling with handling tonight. Made some few adjustments going up.
Jeffrey Parker, who has worked his way up to the 11th position, down for 4 tires in fuel, I'm seeing. So Jeffrey Parker looking to maybe make up some time here with 4 tires on the leader's old tires.
Yeah, they are definitely going to try to do something on these new tires. They are going to have less than 25 laps to go when this race gets back under green. So not a whole lot of time to get up there, but you know, you never know what's going to happen. We've seen a couple wrecks here of late, and these leaders aren't afraid to bang at each other either, so you never know what's going to happen, like I said.
And you were talking about Brad Mihar in a pink car, and you weren't sure. You thought that was his breast cancer awareness car, I believe. I think that's his car every night. That's just his color.
Well, I remember he said that that he started that because one of the ladies in the Mercer office, I believe, is going through breast cancer, and they wanted to put that out there. So I'm pretty sure that is a breast cancer car. He has been running that for quite a while, though, and because October is coming up, it's quite fitting. But when we come back, we're going to go to a commercial break right now. But when we come back, we're going to have another interview with the one, the only, the incomparable J.D. Laird about Jarl Tyne and what just happened. So don't go away. We got an interview on the flip side.
And we are back live here at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Special guest Jelly Donut, the J.D. Laird in the house here, Cowboy. But first, Hey, let's give a shout out to our sponsor here tonight, Gary Mercer Trucking. Dude, if your pickup truck is too small for the load, then get a real truck to haul it. Sponsoring the Friday Night Showdown series live on ETV Live, Gary Mercer Trucking provides long and short haul options for hauling furniture, perishables, or refrigerated products. Dude, if you can put it in a pickup, you can get into Gary Mercer's truck. With storage facilities in U.S. and Canada, CT Pad approved fast express drivers, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, the best choice to haul your load. Give the old pickup truck a rest. Call Gary Mercer Trucking, 800-668-2980. Better yet, check them out, gmercer.com. Let's go back to the booth. Michael Conti, Dakota Ehrman.
All right, so we've caught up with Jarl Tynes, spotter slash crew chief slash car chief, blah, blah, blah. You get it. JD, what is Jarl saying right now after that move from Doucette going down to turn 3?
A bunch of Norwegian, a bunch of Swedish, and I don't really care to translate because it might not be good, but the car is not coming or not rolling into the trailer. It's coming back on the hook.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it coming. We saw Rich poking his nose down 3 wide, and it just looks like Crockhart got shoved up into him. So a tough break for Jarl. I'm sure he was looking forward to the end of this race. I believe he had the best car and probably was going to win if it all went his way, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. So, well, that's that. So we're going to get back going green here. We're going to let you go, JD, so you can go listen to some more Norwegian slash whatever else he is cursing on your team speak. Here we go. Rich Doucette's going to lead him down. David Cater is going to slot in behind him. Matt Wright's going to be third. Simon Crockhart trying to get back up to the front and fourth. And Chris Seymour out of nowhere is up to fifth. So even though he's hit everything but the pace car tonight, he's in fifth right now. So a great comeback for the 12th car.
And in the second split, just an update here real fast. Anthony Kernan has moved down to second position. Remember, he is your current points leader for the ETV Friday Night Showdown points, or Gary Mercer Trucking points. So he is running well compared to Alex Scribner, who is currently sitting back in the 30th position back on that restart.
3 wide. Oh, one going through the grass right there. We're 3 wide on the front stretch. Now 2 wide. I'm not sure who went through the grass. Kirby. Yeah, Kirby went through the grass. That's not going to bring out a caution, but we were 3 wide going down the front stretch. David Cater on the outside, Matt Wright in the middle, Simon Crockhart on the bottom. And now it's 2 wide again. David Cater holding up a pack of cars right now. Rich Doucette is sprinted out to almost the 6/10 of second lead. Matt Wright is trying to get by Cater, cannot make it happen. Chris Seymour trying to make the high line work on the one of Crockhart. Crockhart gets real loose right there. Here comes Joe Holt. He's going to close the door on Alexi Loma and try to hold that 6th position right there.
Watch back here, Jeffrey Parker and Brad Mihar. Brad looking to the inside here. He's been kind of getting a run here, but Jeff's able to hold him off, just stacking up in front of him. Jeff looking like he's got a run coming off the corner as he moves to the inside of, I believe that's the 35 or the 15, probably the 15, who is wiggling like crazy right now.
There we go, almost 3 wide again. Alexi Loma thought better of it, so it happened when Rich put it down there. Oh, the 23 and the 6 are going to get real close off turn 4 right there. Not going to make contact. Great driving by both of those drivers to keep it off each other. They're going to go side by side down to turn number 1. Matt Wright in that preferred groove. A couple positions back from them behind Simon Crocker in the 13 and Joe Holt. Trying to make his way up to the field. Carson Downs is going to turn the... who is that back there? Carson Downs just got into Mike Johnson right there. Mike got into a half spin, but saved it and then lost it again. So I believe an overcorrect right there. Looks like Carson Downs just stuck his nose in there, and Mike didn't expect him to be down there. Came down just a little bit. Carson came up, and they both got together. 14 is not going to get a lot of damage from that. Just a little bit of a half spin and into maybe like a 270 degrees spin right there. So great job of the 14 to keep it off the wall, but not what he wanted to happen tonight.
And here's the question, is anybody going to come down pit road this time? And being as some of the guys just went down pit road, you know they'll stay out, but we're not getting too long a run, so we got just about 20 laps to go from here. It's going to be interesting to see who stays out and who pits this time.
Well, I mean, if all these guys could get together and say, all right, you know, let's have second through, you know, 23rd pit and leave Rich out there stranded, I'm sure all these guys would come down, but the risk you're taking pitting without knowing what the other guys are going to do, I don't think you're going to see anyone pit. I would like to see what tires could do if they were up front compared to no tires, but I just don't see that happening right now.
I'm wondering if a few of these guys up front may come down. I know David Cater is really just not having a good time in that car right now, and you gotta wonder if he'll come down, maybe get to 4 tires, or if he's gonna stay up front and try to hold on position and maybe hold some more people up, like what was kind of happening there. And so we have a taker, I believe. Nope, we have a faker.
Yeah, it looks like Joe Holt tried to get a couple guys to come down. Alexia Loma looks like he was going to bite if the 13 did come, but the 13 came back out, and I came back out as well. So your top 15 or so are going to stay out right here. A couple guys towards the back of the pack pitting, just trying to get their cars a little bit better, but you know, no one really in contention is coming down pit road this time. I mean, we are within 20 laps to go right now. We're working 19 to go. So when this restart gets back going, we get closer to 15 laps to go. And unfortunately, with this tire model, tires don't mean that much to make up a lot of ground in 15 laps. But I'll give you a little throwback right here. I remember the days of the old tire model on iRacing where we had those unrealistic slip angles and all that tire wear, over 3 seconds of tire wear in a run. And if we had Kentucky back on the old tire model, I'd tell you what, you would not be caught dead on old tires because you would be freight trained in the first corner by the new tires. But unfortunately, the sim has taken a little bit different direction, have a harder compound, so these tires last a little bit longer. And you know, 2 tires, 4 tires, it really doesn't mean a thing if you don't have any track position.
I heard a rumor that somebody's throwing something down there on the track, something's like kind of sharp, trying to cut down Richard Doucette's tires.
Well, maybe it's the same guy that threw the shoe on the track in Montreal in front of Danica, but I don't see anything myself. Let's hope that doesn't happen. We don't want to see anything bad happen to one of the contenders right now. Rich is up there leading with this many laps to go. I'm sure he wouldn't want to see a tire go down, and I believe as hard as these tires are in iRacing right now, I don't think you could cut a tire down if you took a saw to it or a really sharp blade. So we're not going to see any tires go down, Dakota, but good try anyway.
Well, let's think about this here. Who could be throwing this? And we know Tony Stewart can throw, and he's got Danica for Nationwide, but I don't think he'd throw a shoe at his own car, or his future Cup driver. And what about Keselowski? He tends to throw stuff out the window that brings out cautions.
Hey, Keselowski doesn't like water bottles very much. He throws temper tantrums and gets really mad at them and just throws them out to the track. And luckily for him, you know, the caution comes out, so you know, it works out for him. But, you know, in real life NASCAR, I mean, there's no really rule that says, I mean, you can throw the water bottles out. You know, there's no rule that says you can't. And it's really under NASCAR's discretion to throw a caution for that water bottle or not. And unfortunately, with the Brad Keselowski incident, when he threw that water bottle out, you know, his story is I threw it out, and, you know, there was caution for debris. It wasn't for that. You know, stories go back and forth. Kevin Harvick definitely didn't buy it after, you know, Harvick led pretty much every lap. I believe that was at Atlanta. So, you know, it's a lot of discretion in real life racing, but when you get to sim racing, it's a lot more black and white. You know, the sim is programmed. You know, if the sim wants a caution out, it's going to throw that caution every time. There's no discretion. There's no really favoritism. You know, it's cut and dry, black and white. So, you know, that's one major difference between sim racing and real life racing when you put them side by side. But the only time you're going to see any type of difference is probably DWC, Dakota, when you have, you know, real life human being officials making calls like, you know, if the guy changed lanes on a restart, or, you know, if he jumped the restart. That's the only time we're going to see a little bit of different opinions. But right now with the Speed Car Showdown, everything is programmed. The series pretty much runs itself. We're just up here having a good time watching it, and unfortunately, right here we got Jarl tying up here after a strong run tonight. Jarl, it looks like he had a little bit of trouble down in turn 3 and 4. Tell us what happened real quickly.
After watching the replay, I don't know, it looks like Richard Doucette did try to go 3 wide, and Simon Crochet kind of pinched him a tiny bit, and I couldn't see anything of that. So when Simon Crochet, he like shot off the track, and I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Now we were talking to your spotter, and he said he couldn't really understand what you were saying on the radio, like Norwegian, or I don't even remember what he said. But foreign language, what were you saying?
I wasn't saying anything, I think. Can't remember.
He blacked out. He was that mad, and I can't blame you, Jarl. You definitely had the dominant car tonight, buddy. You led, I'd say probably 95% of the laps that you're out there running strong. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen tonight. But we hope to see you back next week. Before we let you go, just let us know who makes it happen for you.
To be honest, no one. I can just thank my mom and my dad for giving birth.
Well, that's good. You know, he's got to thank the parents. A lot of guys always forget about them. But again, without mom and dad, we would not. None of us would be here. So thank you, Jarl, for your time, and we wish you better luck next week.
All right, see you guys.
All right, that's Jarl Tyne. We're gonna go green flag racing right here. Here comes Rich Doucette. Big tire spin for the 23. Here comes the 6 of David Cater. He's gonna try to get to the bottom of here. Here comes Simon Crockhart. Now, Jarl said what is it, Crochart? So he's closer to Simon as far as regions go, so we're going to go with Jarl's pronunciation of it. So we're going to say Simon Crochart. As Landry gets squeezed in the middle right there, they're trying to go 3 wide off the corner. Armando Vargas is in the middle of it again. Here comes Matthew Wright slinging to the bottom of the 6, going down the turn 3 and 4. It looks like he's going to get a great run through the center Dakota. Clear him up off the corner. Big slide job from the 23 to the 6. 6 gets stuck in the wall right there.
Almost like a Jeff. It was a huge wreck. Alex going around.
Oh, he comes back out on the track. Oh, Danny Hansen around again. Cars everywhere. EJ O'Rourke involved. Oh, man. Big
Second
cars
place
on the
up
front
in
stretch.
smoke. Second place in points is up in smoke.
Yeah, when I saw the Scribner machine coming back up towards the pavement, I knew that it was not going to be good. There's a lot of cars still back there to hit him, and there is a ton of damaged cars out here right now.
I actually thought the caution was coming out like 5 minutes ago when they were all crashing everywhere, and then I know where it's Alex then and another huge wreck. So I mean, this thing is turned into as the guys say on the forums, what was that, a Kentucky Derby breakfast, or what was that?
Well, they could say it's a DWC Atlanta Wreck Fest, but we'll say Kentucky Derby. That's fine. Kentucky Demo Derby. But right here, the wreck didn't happen with Scribner. It actually happened with Landry and Vargas putting each other in the wall. Then the 13 of Colt cut right down the track into the 20's door. It's the second time the 20's been doored tonight. And they just all piled into it right there. The only driver getting involved in that without any damage is going to be Danny Hansen, who got hooked, and luckily for him, he got hooked just enough to where he didn't end up hitting the 20 car. So Danny Hansen, lucky or good, I'm not sure, but oh, man, great job of the 4 to get through that. We're gonna pull EJ O'Rourke down here. I'm gonna try to dial up EJ O'Rourke on the radio right here. EJ, you got a copy?
I got you.
I figure that. We always know you like to talk. So, all right, let her rip. What happened right there?
Well, they started wrecking up front there, and I didn't lift because I don't think it'd be a caution. It was on the grass, but ended up getting caught up in guys coming up from the grass. But this Carport Empire, Clovo.com Chevrolet was really fast tonight. Got up to the top 10, actually 7th in the first run there in the second run, but oh well, we're down here at Kentucky again.
We saw you in the first run really charge your way up to 7th, and we were really expecting big things out of you tonight, but it seemed like the car went away a little bit in the center portion of the race. Did you make a bad adjustment, or did you get off sequence? What happened in the middle of the race there?
I was just driving the track wrong. After I got up to 7th, I was charging 1 and 2, trying to go real low, then I had a lift, so I wouldn't hit the wall off at 2 there, so fell all the way back to 20th, but I was going to finish there right up about between 10th and 13th, probably at that run here, but oh well, had a good car. Gotta thank you guys here, Gary Mercer and ETV, for putting this on again.
Thank you, Hollywood, for your time. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Conti, yeah, Conti, I was trying to get Alex Scribner to come up here as I was shooting him a text from my phone, and he sent me a message, and he respectfully declines, as if you actually want to go back and look at it, Joe Holt, he was clear of the wreck, and Joe Holt come all the way down, hit Scribner, and turned him into the grass, so that's 2 GFR cars for Joe Holt tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Joe might have a couple cars coming at him here at the end of this race. The 27's still under power, and well, looky there, the 27 is going to be restarting directly behind the 13. So Look out, Joe. You got a couple guys gunning for you here, so this is going to get quite interesting here at the end. I think the guy in the best position is Rich Doucette, who can really control these restarts and get off to big leads and just get away from the mess that's going to ensue behind him.
Yeah, for sure. Doucette's always going his restarts. It seems like all of the wheelman guys know where to time it so that nobody can keep up with them. And I mean, he even outdiced his teammate, David Cater. He left him sitting in the dust. So definitely no teamwork on the track is showing. As actually we were talking about this on the pit report. This iRacing is so competitive now that I'm talking about the rivalry between me and Michael Keaton. You know, we're real close in the team speak. You know, broadcasting and whatnot. Me and him are probably the biggest rivals on track. It's not even funny, and you can see teammates not even working out there. Working together on the restarts.
It was a pure example of it. When I got my first DWC win, it was coming down to 2 to go, or there was a one-lap shootout at the end, and I had my teammate Brian Schoenberg on the outside of me. I was restarting first, and I counted it down for him, and I really ended up screwing myself because he got a great restart and just pulled right up next to me, and it was a great race from there on out. But a lot of guys just don't want to give the teammate that little extra advantage, especially on a restart, when that's really your main time to get away from them in the first couple laps after you get going again. So, you know, if you're a nice guy, you're going to count down all the way to the end of the race. But if you're a guy like me that wants to win the race, man, you're just gonna go out there and just try to get every advantage you can. And if that's not helping your teammate, well, oh well. But I know David and Rich, you know, they're good guys. You know, they like each other. They're friends. On the same team, so they're gonna try. They help each other out all week on setups and testing and tuning and, you know, all that good stuff. But when it comes down to the race, those guys put the helmets on and put the visor down. That's it. You know, it's every man for himself.
Alright, so the lights are going off on the pace car, I do believe. Let's just take a look at this field, alright? How this is set up. Richard Doucette, he is fast tonight. He's good on the restarts. But on the outside of him, a guy that we didn't see much earlier, this guy has come alive, and that is Matthew Wright. And I think I used to personally race with this guy. This guy wasn't... he wasn't as quick as he is now. This guy is on fire, especially the last few weeks. Now, sitting in the third position, the guy that got in the wreck earlier caused a little bit of incident with Jarl. Didn't quite cause it, but caught up, and it was Simon Crotchard, or I mean, you pronounce it right. I'm not even going to try anymore. But he's been fast all night. He was taken with the leaders. David Cater, who's been in kind of a messed up situation, he was kind of going backwards there towards the end of the run, is sitting in the fourth position, and sitting in fifth position, Chris Seymour. He's hit everything but the pace car tonight. Like you said, he's still up in the top 5. Joe Holt, he's took out 2 Gale Force cars. He's sitting in the 6th position. Alexi Aloma, who was yeah, I finally got it there, but Alexi Aloma, who was losing it off every corner, spinning and whatnot. We saw him spinning earlier, up to 7th position, and then the guy sitting behind Joe Holt is the guy that got turned by Joe Holt earlier, under caution, Jeffrey Parker. He's coming back with a comeback, and I have a feeling that he might have some vengeance in store for Joe Holt. But as we're getting set to go, green flag racing here as they're working through turn 3 and 4. I'm going to let you call this from here.
Alrighty, Dakota, working through 3 and 4. Doucette's going to get a big run on this restart right here. He's laying way back from the pace car. Oh, he's going to bring him down slow. He just confused the heck out of him right there. Going to bring him down real slow. There he goes, stacks at the bottom. Chris Seymour does not get going at all. That's going to kill Alexi Aloma right there. I'm looking back here. Here comes the 27 on the 13. Side by side, down to 1 and 2. These guys are not happy with each other after what we saw earlier in this race. 13's going to give the 27 a little bit of room right there. 27 all the way down to the bottom. He's going to make the move. He's going to be even with them coming down the backstretch. Here comes David Cater on the 29 of Wright. Wright lost the 2nd position to the 1 of Crockart. He's possibly going to lose 3rd to Cater right here. As I'm looking at that, looks like Jeff Parker is going to get around Joe Holt. Here comes Carson Downs trying to get by the 13 as well.
Now mark Jeffrey Parker back up into the top 5. Remember, he was contending for the lead earlier. He is one of the first cars on 4 tires, so I wonder if he can run back down those leaders and maybe do something with them, as we only have about 7 laps to go, or actually 9 laps to go, looking at that wrong. Matthew Wright and David Cater battling up here also. Get dicey.
Getting interesting up here, Dakota. The 23 almost gave the 6 a little shot off the corner. They're 4 wide in the back right now. Make that 3 wide. 12 and the 13. The Alexi Aloma, Justin Kirby, 25. Carson Downs there, 3-4 wide back there. 6 and the 29, meanwhile, up front, or 6 and 23 up front, still side by side. Oh, Justin Kirby gets loose into the corner off the bumper of Carson Downs. Here comes Danny Hansen under him. 23 and the 6 are side by side. Here comes the 27 of Jeffrey Parker from the back to the front. Here he comes. Oh, he's gonna get close right there. The 23 almost hits the 6. Chris Seymour's got to check up. Oh, he checks up in front of the field. They make it through there somehow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 3 wide, and Jeffrey only able to pick up one spot, but he's still on the inside of the 6 as he heads into turn number 1. Jeffrey Parker still side by side with David Cater. David Cater looking like he might be able to pull it off. There's no Jeffrey coming on the outside, or coming on the inside off the corner, so Jeff had a really good run off the corner and almost clearing the 6 car. I wonder if he should possibly be able to get... Oh, Cater turns him!
There he goes. Oh, and into the wall he goes.
How many times can he get turned in a race?
Jeffrey Parker is not a popular man tonight, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that, but he got hooked into the wall. I'm not sure if he came up or not, or Cater came down. I know they're discussing it right now on text. I don't know. Cater was not up next to the wall, and Parker, I'm gonna say that was Cater right there. I mean, Cater was about 3 feet off the wall, and he was the one that hooked him into the wall. So I'm gonna put that on Cater. I don't know right there. That's really a shame. Jeffrey Parker from the front to the back to the front, well, now to the back again for good. That really stinks for him.
You know, long night for him, and he's had a fast car all night, and that's really disappointing for that car and that team, as they've been running up front, like we said. But of course, how many cars did that take him out? The 13, the 6 took him out. The 13 also took out Alex, his teammate. Just not a good night for the Gale Force Racing cars tonight.
No, it seems like it's Wheelmen versus Gale Force. I mean, 13 and Joe Holt, Dave Cater, they're on the same team, and Scribner and Parker, they're on the same team. So, I hate to sound like ESPN here and make rivalries, when they're not needed, but this is really a rivalry heating up between Wheelmen and at least half of Wheelmen and Gale Force. I mean, I don't know what really initiated this, but I don't know what's going on, but it's getting really frisky between those guys.
I don't know why there's a lack of respect. They actually, Wheelman, some of the guys at Wheelman originated from Gale Force Racing, I believe. So Jared Crawford was at Gale Force at one point in time, and some of those big guys that I believe were kicked out. I'm not sure the full story on what happened, but they're not there now, and as you can see, their teammates from Wheelman are basically destroying. And it's what I told Jeffrey earlier. I had to go in there and talk to him on the radio and try to cool him down. And I told him he could go up there and give Joe Holt, I believe, a little bit of his mind, but I told him it's the only way they're going to be able to beat him, and it's trying to keep your driver calm. It's going to be one tough thing here, and I guarantee you next week is not going to be any better. It'll be in Dover, a tight space, really hard to get around that track. Next week is a good track, though, for me especially, and I have a feeling these Gale Force cars are going to be strong, but who is it next week?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to anything you were saying right there. I'm just listening to the brawl that's ensuing right now. David Cater he's getting a lot of hate right now. I'm gonna give a little bit of a blurb of what they just said right there, a little blurb. Jeffrey Parker said to David Cater, he said, "Well, that's not the first time he wrecked me. He wrecked me a couple seasons ago." And David Cater responded with, "Well, I must be a lot more important to you because I don't remember ever wrecking you." So Cater's really getting into it tonight with a lot of guys. Justin Kirby also said, "Cater, I liked you better when you were building late model setups." So, oh man, this is Kentucky under the lights, everybody. The guys are not happy with each other right now.
And Joe Holt overtakes Jet. I love Cale Gale, for the record, because Cale Gale was part of Gale Force Racing, so he'll be in the team speak every once in a while, and that is the professional truck racer, or professional NASCAR driver in the truck series, who was actually running well in the last truck series race at Iowa, I believe. After a few cautions, I believe he finished 5th. So Cale also working over here at Gale Force, which is kind of cool. That's and I do remember that those two getting together at Dover a few seasons ago was correct, as Jeff had informed me of this a few races. Or he never really forgot this, as kind of respecting.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Jeffrey and Alex. They're two good little drivers. I mean, they give anyone a run for their money and had great cars tonight. I'm not sure, but like I said, it's not from tonight where this aggravation is stemming from on both sides. It's obviously seasons ago, and it's just coming to a boiling point here tonight.
I'm kind of wondering, will this carry over to the next race, or who's going to dump who next? That's going to be a ridiculous move there, though. I believe if two cars take out two cars on opposite teams, there's going to be some back and forth talking, and the F-Force has been really strong the last few weeks. If you haven't noticed, I mean, Alex was up front in the points, and I mean, they were challenging at Richmond, I believe. I was not there for the race, but Alex was sitting there running, I believe, fourth position, and he was up there really quickly. I guess he was spun or something off one of the corners in the end and finished in the rear, but these guys have been strong, and I hope they're going to be able to make a comeback here soon. But Richard Doucette up front right now, leading the race, so his team's taking out the 27. The one car is still there and hanging strong. I wonder if he's going to be able to do anything with the 3, but the 3's been able to drive away the last few runs, so not quite sure.
Yeah, I think the 3's biggest competition, as we're going to have a 2-lap shootout right here, the biggest competition for the 3 is going to be the 1 of Simon Crochart, and oh, the 7 gets a little bit sideways as he's warming up the tires right there. Simon, I believe, can get the 3 right here. It just depends on how good of a restart he can get. We've seen Rich get great restarts all night. Last restart brought him down slow. The restart before that brought him down real quick and went real quick. So these guys don't know what to expect. But yeah, what I expect is some great hard racing right here. I've had quite a few cautions in the second half of this race. Hopefully we can get this thing finished under green here and see what can happen between this top couple cars here.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm looking at this. I'm kind of shocked at this. I got to keep throwing this out there. This 23, I don't know who. I believe he works with Nexus, which is, I believe, Anthony Kernick's team, but and he is actually the current points leader. Will probably extend his points lead as he was running second or first in the second split race. Matthew Wright has been running phenomenal here lately, and I think he's got good sets behind him. And this kid is really good. He's going to be probably the next big thing here coming here soon. And I have a feeling that the whole Nexus team is going to get their rating up, probably make top split every race coming up here soon. And they're going to be able to challenge probably the Scrapper Boys and Wheelman Inc. especially.
Definitely so. Alright, here we go. Coming down to a green, white, checkered. 3 car, Rich Doucette. 1 car, Simon Crochart. They're going to bring him down to the green right here. Doucette's going to hammer it right there. He's going to go early that time. Looks like Simon's going to be able to clear him right there. Not a bad restart for Simon. David Cater on the outside trying to hang tough. He's going to try to get the 3rd position right here. Carson Downs pushing Joe Holt down at the corner number 1 right there. He's going to shove him up the track, give him a little bit of a bump in the center of the corner. I believe it looks like the 13 is going to drive away okay. The 1 gets a huge run off of turn 2 right there. He's going to close within 2 car lengths of 3, entering turn 3.
I don't think that this thing is over, as the 1 is closing on that 3 and with a head of steam. As the 1 maybe getting a little tight off of turn number 4, but still not losing a whole lot of speed. He's got that draft, and it's going to help him keep up there. As the 23 is also closing on the 1. Matthew Wright, like I talked about him under caution. This kid is fast and he is coming, but he doesn't have enough laps to get there. As we are in the white flag, it's either the 1 gets to the 3 or the 23 gets to the 1. Not sure what's going to happen first, but it looks like the 3 might be able to just pull away here. Is what he's doing the last little bit here.
Unless the 1 makes a huge dive bomb, it's not going to happen. He's not going to do it. He's going to try to get a run off the corner right here, possibly get to the 3's bumper. It's not going to happen. Rich Doucette for the 2nd week in a row is going to go to victory lane. As Joe Holt gets sideways right there, Rich Doucette is your winner at Kentucky. Great finish right there. A lot of cautions in the second half, but a great finish. Simon Crochart in 2nd place. Matthew Wright with a strong run in 3rd. David Cater brings him home 4th. Lexi Loma looks like he's going to be 5th. Carson Downs is going to come up and say hello to the 3 car Rich Doucette. 23 is going to give him a little bump as well, so great run by Doucette. Was really aggressive tonight, as I hear 1 going around right now. The 15 and the 11 get together right there, coming across the start-finish line. Not sure what that was about. But looks like everyone else is going all right now. I don't see any retaliation so far anyway. Oh, 7 hits the 3 right there. Oh, 3's getting hit all over the place, so I think that's just friendly hits right there. But it looks like the 6 of David Cater and the 27 of Jeff Parker, they're going to leave each other alone for now, but we'll see what happens next week. It should be fun to watch.
That was kind of a funny thing. There was David Cater retreated. Jeffrey Parker pulled up to the rear bumper of Joe Holt. Joe Holt pulled over and kind of looked like he was about to take something, but Jeff went around him. Jeff ran all the way up behind this Doucette, or not Doucette, but Cater, and Cater jumped down the access road real fast, and so it was either go through the grass and get him, or just kind of roll around, and Jeff could have slowed down, but I don't think he did. He just kept rolling. But
yeah, I know that Jeff is a smart guy. You know that. I know that, and he's not going to get himself protested or suspended for a week because he wants to get payback on someone, which really isn't going to do anything, but just make it look worse. So Jeff Parker is going to bring it home in the 10th position. Not a bad night for backing into the wall, hitting the wall head on, just all over the place. So. Jeff Parker is going to bring it home in a decent spot. Before we go to commercial break right here, I'm going to go down through your finishing order. Rich Doucette, Simon Crowsharp, Matthew Wright, David Cater, Alexia Loma is your top 5. Carson Downs, Joe Holt, Danny Hansen, Jake Poole, and Jeff Parker round out your top 10. Justin Kirby, Brad Mahar, Stephen Landry, Mike Kirby, Matt Largan, top 15. Dylan Landry, Armando Vargas, Chris Seymour is your last car on the lead lap in 18th, and everyone behind them all had troubles tonight. Mike Johnson, Andrew Sherwood, Zach Hudson, Alex Ficker, EJ, Darrell Tyen, Nick Zotner, Brandon Jarrell, and Garrett Grant. So when we get back, we're going to have interviews from a lot of the top finishers tonight. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
And welcome back after a controversial race. The wrecking here, the wrecking there, the wrecking everywhere. But the guy who survived, Richard Doucette, is standing in victory lane with Mike Conti.
Well, Mr. Rich Doucette, back in victory lane once again. You won the thing last week at Chicago, and you won again this week. Tell us how you got it done tonight.
Well, thanks, Mike. I'd like to start off by saying thanks again to EVTV for putting us on live on Friday nights. Thanks JD Webb, you, Mike, and Dakota, and everyone else. John Wessling involved with the ETV broadcast, but certainly a lot different tonight than it was at Chicago. Definitely didn't have the best car tonight. Earl had us pretty much covered, I think. He ran into some bad luck when I believe me and Simon got together there just a little bit in turn 3, and it ended Earl's night. I felt real bad about that, but after that I just had to move on and try to keep it out front.
Tell us about that incident down in turn 3. So you get a big run off of turn 2, and you sent it down there in turn 3. 3 wide right there. Tell us how 3 wide is taken in the B Series and how the other drivers usually react to it.
Well, I can definitely tell you it was an aggressive move. It sure was. It was nothing other than an aggressive move. I, like you said, just got a huge run when they were side by side coming off of 2, and been a little down on speed to those guys, but I thought with clean air, if I could get out in front, I maybe could stay there. And I thought I was pretty much up to Simon's door there, and I kind of sent it in there. I thought I was low enough, but it seemed like we all just came together. I haven't had a chance to look at the replay, but what I heard at the time was it was the slightest of contact between me and Simon, and it kind of just moved him up the track a little bit into Earl, which, I mean, I felt real bad about again, but sometimes you get in there, you're racing, and you see an opportunity. In the later stages of the race, sometimes you just got to take it and see what happens.
Definitely so. So a great run for you tonight. Definitely showing what you can do, even if you don't have the best car. Going into next week at Dover, your team was definitely strong there last season. What do you expect next week?
Well, if I remember right, we had a great piece there last season, so hopefully some of that stuff transfers over to this season, and hopefully we can put together a real good ride for next Friday night's ETV Live Showdown.
Right before we let you go, Dakota wants me to ask you this, and I'm going to add a little bit to this myself, because your teammate David Cater and Jeffrey Parker kind of going into it, and Joe Holt and Alex Scribner going into it. Do you see a little bit of a rivalry starting between a couple guys on your team and a couple guys on GFR?
No, I don't think that's any sort of rivalry that any of us need to worry about, especially the guys on Wheelmen. But before you let me go, I would like to say thank you to all the guys on Wheelmen Inc., Jared Crawford, Chad Lawton, David Cater, Joe Holt, and all those other guys. And also thanks to JD Laird over at jdrgraphics.com for the new car I ran tonight. I'm not sure if you guys caught it on the broadcast, but had a little pink on the car for Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up here in October. So I'd just like to thank all those guys too.
Alrighty, thank you, Rich Doucette. So everybody, that is Rich Doucette, your winner tonight at Kentucky. I'm going to send it down to Dakota, who's caught up with Matthew Wright.
And Matt Wright, man, you managed to survive all the carnage wrecking in your mirror everywhere. Like I said, when we came back from commercial break, but the last few laps, you were sitting there right behind second place and right behind the leader. What were you thinking coming down on the white flag?
I was hoping we had a chance there, but we had our teammate Simon in front of us. I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize his race, so I just kind of held it in position there and rode it out to the finish.
And man, we haven't noticed you. I mean, I don't remember seeing your name a whole lot popping up on the boards a while ago, but now you're seeming to be a contender every week, week in and week out. What has changed to put you up front?
Nexus is really just making great setups, every week now. We're really, really competitive and just showing now top 5 finishes every week here.
Had you had maybe another 5 laps, do you think you could have got up there to at least second place?
Simon was really strong, but we might have had a shot at him and Rich. But I'm happy with the top 5 finish, 3rd place, and we'll go get him again, and hopefully we'll come out with a win next week.
Well, I know you mentioned Nexus, but is there anybody else you want to thank before we send you out of here?
I just got to thank Zach Hudson and everyone at Nexus, and Andrew Shirley last week for helping me get that top 5. Really helped.
Well, there you have it from Matt Wright, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, and hopefully you can make the best out of the week, but we're going to send it up to, I believe, Michael Conti or JD.
Alrighty, thank you, Dakota. I'm just going to wrap it up real quickly here before I send it back to JD. Final thoughts for me, great race tonight, a lot of great racing, and I expect to see the same thing next week at Dover. We saw an 80, I believe 2 or 3 lap green flag run to start off last season's Dover race. I believe that's the longest green flag run we've had to start off a race here on ETV. We had a caution-free race at Richmond. Beside that, it was definitely one of our strongest green flag runs. So that was a great race last season. Sure, it'll be a great race again, and I'm looking forward to it. Dakota, what are you expecting to see next week?
Well, after this wreck fest, I don't even know, but Dover usually does provide a few wrecks in itself. Getting off turn 2 is pretty tricky. Turn 4 seems like it's even tighter getting off that corner, but it's really hard to get a handle on that track. I was out there, but once you get a handle on it, I think it's going to be quick and hard to make passes. But hopefully it's going to make for some good racing, maybe some single file, double file. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting next week, to say the least.
Alrighty, final thoughts, Steve?
This race was definitely better than last season's. I know you guys were watching, I was a part of it, unfortunately, but a lot more dramatic. Hopefully that leads into next week, and we get some good storylines going on.
Alrighty, well, you have it. That's me, Mike Conti, Dakota Ehrman, and Steve Azeni giving you our final thoughts. We'll see you next week, but before we go, send it down to JD Webb at Race Central.
Another one in the books here, Friday night showdown here. And a big thank you to Brendan Mercer, Gary Mercer Trucking, gmercer.com. Check it out, Cowboy. If you got something to move, gmercer.com is where you need to be. More racing action coming your way. Hey, catch this, Cowboy, tomorrow night live on ETV Live Radio, direct from Thunder Mountain Speedway, Wesley Outland, and the super late model run. I'll tell you what, Cowboy, you don't want to miss this one. This will be simulcast live on ETV Live Radio tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, Saturday night at 8 o'clock p.m. You can catch the link off the iTunes website. You can get us from Windows Media Guide. Hey, TuneInRadio.com as well. Get that mobile app. Listen to us while you're on the road. Some more racing action coming your way Sunday night with Sim Pro Racing, Power Ride, Lucas Oil Midget Racing, and you don't want to miss this one either, Cowboy. Clarksville Nationals live on ETV Live, 9:30 p.m. And I'll tell you, some fantastic dirt racing. Justin Rosenau, Brett Wheeler will be in the booth for you. And then Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m., the And the Winners Motorsport Show, Real Sim Racing, Chase Race number 2 at 9 o'clock with live qualifying. So with tons more action coming your way here on ETV Live. Don't miss it, etv-eplay.net. So for Michael Conti, Dalton England, Dalton England, what a little cowboy he is, join us on the pit report tonight. But Dakota Herman and the whole crew here, John Westling and all the boys, hey, we'll catch you next time on ETV Live.
Thank you.